Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Thursday night Red Light Sports Ramble. I'm here again with my co-host, Evan Watallison. Every Thursday, we're going to break this down into 2 segments. We're going to do our Packer recap, our Packer review, which we did before. And then we're going to take some questions and comments from Twitter during the day. We have 3 great categories today, and so we call this Twitter Talk. Evan and I briefly described this. 3 great topics today. The first topic is, of course, the hot topic in the NFL, Evan. It's the Trent Richardson trade to Indianapolis. That was actually put out there by Mark Buran. His handle is @Buran, BURANMH. And also by In Romo We Trust. And his handle is @Menlo5, which is @MENLO5. And so they put out the Richardson trade for us to talk about. And then we had
one guy on earth that trusts Romo.
Yeah, he does. I mean, Romo's a Wisconsin guy, so I gotta like the guy. I mean, he likes Romo. Nothing wrong with that. Well, Menlo does. So we got to give him props, though. He wants to know our take on that Richardson trade. And then we had a loyal listener, Julie and Gene Edwardson, @Gene Edwardson, @GENE Edwardson. They wanted, and I like this. I think we're going to have some fun with this one, bud. They want us to rank the 4 Packer quarterbacks: Bart Starr, Lynn Dickey, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers, 1 to 4. And I know you and I had our little preview show together on the phone, so I think we're going to have some fun with that one.
Yeah.
And then our last topic, of course, is what do we think about tonight's game? The Chiefs-Redskins, or the Chiefs and Eagles. Andy Reid going back to Philly, and that was put out there by Toy Vaught Sunshine, and her handle is @ToyVaught, so it's @ToyVogt. But I think we got 3 really good subjects tonight,
I think we do too.
and so I'm going to start off. And since I'm in Indy, I had a little bit of reaction last night. I actually heard the reaction, and I heard the news when I was at the Detour Bar and Grill in Carmel, where I went after I did my ramble last night. And I'll tell you, there was a guy in the bar that actually said, "We're now ready for the Super Bowl. That is a great trade. We're ready for the Super Bowl." And him and I, we didn't. It is a good trade, and like I told you, I think the guy was ready to hit me, because I think it's a good trade. I think he's a quality player, but I don't think he puts them over the top. And the reason I think, and you can tell me what you think when you talk about the trade, you still need an offensive line no matter what the running back is. I mean, in my mind, there's probably, and you had mentioned one, and you can mention it when you're there, but I thought there was 2 very good running backs that don't need an offensive line in the history of the NFL, Barry Sanders and Adrian Peterson. Trent Richardson needs an offensive line. He needs a hole. He needs a starting point. Once he gets to that little bit of a hole, then he'll be okay. But I don't think he's the guy that all of a sudden anoints them to the Super Bowl. And so I got into a discussion with the guy, and on the flip side of this, I don't know what the Browns are thinking. A top 3 pick, actually the 3rd pick overall, and after 1 year you trade him. Yeah, he was nicked up a little bit last year, but the guy ran for almost 1,000 yards injured in his rookie campaign on a crappy team. And I was reading today on ESPN that he just didn't fit the system, and I was scratching my head. I think he's a perfect fit for the system. A guy that can pound the ball, and you and I talked about this. A guy that can pound the ball, let Whedon control the game with short passes. So I was like, that is totally false. The guy fits in the system. There's something else going on there where you're going to deal your top player, basically the face of your franchise, for a first round pick next year, because the Colts most likely are going to be picking in the 20s. So I'm just baffled by it. But I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about why you think this trade went down and what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, well, the big reason I'm reading, and I don't necessarily disagree with it per se, but one of the big reasons everyone's saying is they're basically trying to tank it this year to get a top pick in this upcoming draft. There's a lot of really good talent, but I think it has to do more with that. If you recall, back in the early stages of summer, and I think even the spring, it was going around how the Browns' current owner is being investigated by, I believe, the IRS in regards to his the business that he runs, the truck stop.
Yeah, the Flying J. I told you I stopped there for gas when I traveled.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped there since, but yeah, he's under investigation. Good point.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised if in the next few months the Cleveland Browns would put for sale. I would not be surprised one bit.
Wow, that's a totally different take on that. I like it. Go ahead.
Look at when most teams when they're getting ready to sell, they usually try to cut assets, and Trent Richardson is a high-priced asset. So it's kind of making me wonder if that is the case, which I think it could be, and if I'm wrong, so be it. Who's going to be the next one on the trading block? I know there's rumors that one of their wide receivers is possibly going to get traded. That's what I was reading through Twitter yesterday. But, like, who's next is really what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if your theory folds out that the team's going to be for sale. Because, to be honest, until you told me today, I totally forgot about the investigation. But you're right.
I think most people have. I think, even ESPN and NFL Network, I think they've even forgot about it because they didn't really talk about it when it started either. So I haven't heard anything about it in a while, but you probably would have heard something if it would have been settled by now, and we haven't heard that it's been settled.
Well, yeah, I mean, those investigations can last for quite a while, but it's an interesting take on that. I really like it, and we'll have to follow that, and over the course of our rambles, we'll see where that goes. But that's a very good point. So I'm gonna turn it over to you first, and I think we're in agreement. And so maybe instead of us both saying what our top four is, I think you and I are in agreement on our top four, correct?
I think so.
And so if we're not, just let me know. But from our own preview, I think we're right on with what we want to do for the quarterbacks in Packer history. And this is tough, though. I mean, you got to think about it. How many franchises, when all is said and done, are going to have 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks? I mean, there's not many. So it.
An argument that Lindsey deserves to be in that too, possibly someday.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen, just based on the quarterbacks. And
you can make the argument that he could. It probably won't happen, though.
Yeah, I mean, but for his day, and I'll tell you the story when we get to the Lynn Dickey, where he's placed. My father is absolutely, I think, man-crushed with Lynn Dickey. He loves Lynn Dickey. When we went to the games, Lynn Dickey this, Lynn Dickey that, and I'll get to that story. But I think, and we'll go, and let's go backwards. Let's start with number 4. And so we'll start. The 4th best quarterback in Packer history, I think, is Lynn Dickey. I think we just have to put him there because he never got us to the big game, never really did much as far as allowing us to be the winning franchise. But he did play on some bad teams and some bad offensive lines. But I'll tell you what, if you ever sit down and talk with my dad about this very thing, he will be adamant that Lynn Dickey is the best quarterback ever to play in Packer history. And he'll say, yes, he had bad knees, but the guy was a beast. And he sat there, had knee injury after knee injury, but went out there. He was a fans player because of the blue-collar attitude he had. And he had a strong cannon arm. And my dad will sit there and debate with you for hours on that. But I think that's my take on the Lynn Dickey at coming in at number 4.
I would agree with Lynn Dickey at number 4. Being that I was born in '83, I don't recall Dickey a whole lot. But I would say that's fair, especially when you look at who we probably both agree with as our number 3. You look at the next person on the list, and correct me if this isn't your choice, but number 3 is number 4, Brett Favre. I think you put him at number 3. He did a lot of great things, but like you were saying, and you can explain a little bit, is he also did a lot of dumb decisions too. But I think he would be number 3 in my book.
Yep, we're on agreement where we're going with this, and you and I talked about it. Yeah, Brett Favre has the accolades, the Iron Man, the guy that played, the guy that put up passing yards, the guy that brought us back to the Super Bowl, brought the glory back to Green Bay, got us into back-to-back Super Bowls. But when you look at it, he also cost us some more trips to the Super Bowl. But I still love the guy. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from him. But if we're looking at pure best quarterbacks in Green Bay history, I got to put him at number 3 because of his decision making. What do you think about that?
I would agree. I think with his decision making, his thing is the Packers should have went to probably 3 other Super Bowls during the Favre era. But his decision making cost them some of those games. The 2007 NFC Championship game comes to mind where I don't know why he threw the ball to Driver, but he decided to throw the ball to Driver instead of checking down to Bryant. And then we all remember the 4th and 26 game. I believe he threw an interception in that game that cost them.
Yeah, he just chucked the ball up in the air. It was like we were playing that game. When you're out in the backyard, who can catch it? That's what that was. That play. That one really irks me.
Same year, and then the St. Louis Rams game, they ended up having, I believe, 6 interceptions in that game.
Yeah. So we're going to move on because I'm looking at our time. You know what? You and I really do ramble too much, I think. I mean, we're pushing 12 minutes, bud. So we're going to move.
We can get the last 2 in quickly.
Yeah, we can get the last 2 in quickly, and then our prediction for tonight's game can get done quickly. But number two, you and I agree. It's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it is Aaron Rodgers. People may yell at us for this one, bud, but you know what? He's only won 1 Super Bowl. He, is showing that he can put up numbers and he can win a lot of games, but right now, in the body of work, and because we're talking about 2013, I put him at number 2. I don't think he has earned the right to be the number 1 quarterback in Packer history yet.
I would agree with that. He's at number 2, and that leaves number 1, and there's many reasons why. If I can't get into all of them, that would be Starr, and the biggest reason was not only was he the quarterback, he was also the coach on the field.
Yeah, I'm going to let you expand on that one too. You and I talked about this, and it is about his overall body of work and what he did as a quarterback of the Packers. So you can expand on that for just a couple seconds on this one, bud, because I know you talked about it. But, I mean, you and I never seen this guy play. All we've seen is highlights. But what we've heard and what we've read, he was the real deal when he played against all the other quarterbacks. He was the class of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that he pretty much ran the offense on the field, he was like the offensive coordinator on top of being the quarterback. So I think that ranks him above. And I believe we got to get these predictions in quickly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we got about a minute and a half.
Okay, so let's get the predictions in quickly. What's your take on the night?
I think Andy Reid goes into Philadelphia, and I think he wins. And the reason is the Chiefs have not turned the ball over. I think that they're going to be able to go out, sustain a game plan. They're going to keep Chip Kelly's offense off the field because Andy Reid is going to have that controlled West Coast offense. And it's going to be a close game, but I think Chip Kelly's offense is going to actually not be able to get on the field as much as they want because Reid's going to control the clock with his offense.
You nailed it right on the head. I think the Chiefs win it because, Alex Smith's nothing special, but he doesn't turn the ball over. That's one thing he does not do, as we saw week 1 last season when the Packers played the 49ers. So I think the Chiefs get the win because of Alex Smith's not going to turn the ball over.
Yep, he's a smart quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. The guy's never going to be an elite quarterback, but he is a smart quarterback, and I think they go in tonight because I like that Chiefs defense. I think it's an underrated Chiefs defense. And again, they don't turn the ball over, and that is going to slow down Chip Kelly's fast-paced offense. And with that said, we've got to call it a night, bud. So, again, thanks for tonight. Thanks for co-hosting. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Okay, that's it, folks. That was Twitter Talk. We'll see you next Thursday, and I'll see you at the next red light. Have a great night, everyone. Enjoy Thursday Night Football.